Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. This is the second video of tonight, so a double header for the channel tonight, guys. So hope you guys enjoy. This is the top 10 NRL halfbacks of the 2020 NRL season. Just before I start as well, there are no Cowboys in this list, guys. I know these days when you click on a video and someone's wearing a jersey of their team, a lot of people think they're going to be biased. Trust me. There's no Cowboys in this video. No Cowboys halfback this year was even top 10 anyway. So I just thought I'd let you guys know that. But anyway, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you will not be disappointed. Anyway, let's get into it. So the top 10 NRL halfbacks of the 2020 NRL season. Very hard list to put together. A lot of great halfbacks from this year, and let's get into it. So number 10, it is the Gold Coast Titans halfback, Jamal Fogarty. He is the 10th best halfback of the 2020 NRL season. Now, Jamal Fogarty had a pretty reasonable season with the Gold Coast Titans. Hasn't really been given a fair go throughout his whole career, and you know, it was his first full NRL season, I think, and I thought he played fairly well, Jamal Fogarty. I know the Gold Coast didn't make the 8. They started the year fairly slow, the Gold Coast, and then probably from the middle of the season towards the end, the Gold Coast started to play well, and Jamal Fogarty played well. He pretty much carried the Gold Coast on his back. Obviously, when you're playing in the halves with a failure like Ash Taylor, it wouldn't be easy. But I thought Jamal Fogarty had a fairly strong season, scored a lot of tries, set up a few tries. His kicking game was quite solid, and I think he'll just improve as the years go on. So number 10 is Jamal Fogarty. Number 9 is a player that I rate very highly. I've given this bloke a lot of big raps before, and I really like the kid. I think he's got a big future ahead of him. Number 9 is the Warriors halfback, Chanel Harris-Tavita. Now, I've praised Chanel Harris-Tavita more times than I can count. I rate the kid very high. I think he'll be a top 5 halfback in the near future. He's a quality player. The good thing about Chanel Harris-Tavita is he's a great defender. His kicking game is great. He can play on the left side and the right side. Doesn't really matter what side he plays on. It doesn't seem to faze him. And he's just an all-round good player. And that's what I love about halfbacks. When halfbacks are really strong defenders, they can play on both sides of the field. They kick well and they score a few tries. Chanel Harris-Tavita for mine. He is the future of the NRL, and I think he'll only get better as time goes on. And hopefully Nathan Brown, the coach of the Warriors, can get more out of Chanel Harris-Tavita. I thought he had a fairly solid year. He's building a good combination with Cody Nikorima, and I think Chanel Harris-Tavita plays better on the left side, in my opinion. He's more of a left side player. I reckon he plays very well on both sides, but he's a good player. I thought he had a really good season. Set up a few tries and scored a couple himself. And he's a really good goal kicker as well. Great defender. And I think he'll improve. So I thought he had a good year. And Chanel Harris-Tavita is number 9 on my list. Number 8 is a bloke who choked in the finals this year. He was very disappointing. Arguably cost him the game. And number 8, you know his name. His name's Mitchell Moses from the Parramatta Eels. He is the 8th best halfback of the 2020 NRL season. Now, the first probably 6 to 10 rounds, you would have said Moses is the best halfback. But my God, he dropped off hard. When he got injured, when he came back from injury, he just wasn't the same player, to be honest. He was playing really well the first 6 to 10 rounds of the season, and when Parramatta were going really well, and when he got injured, that was pretty much the end of the good form of Mitchell Moses. And then in the finals, he went missing when it mattered most, which was a shame. But, you know, didn't have a great season, Mitchell Moses. I thought Dylan Brown probably had a better year than Mitchell Moses. And, you know, the fact that Dylan Brown and Clint Gaveston had more try sets than Mitchell Moses is a bit of a concern for mine. But, you know, Moses definitely had his moments this year. He played some pretty good games at the start of the year, but he's just not consistent enough for mine, Mitchell Moses. He needs to improve his game. I think he needs to get his defence right. His defence was a little bit shakier this year, and, you know, I'm not knocking Mitchell Moses. I think he's a solid halfback, but he's not a great halfback. He's not on the level of top 3, top 5, in my opinion. He's around that probably 8th spot at the moment for mine. But he had an okay season, Mitchell Moses, and I think he needs to wake up to himself a little bit going into next year. So Mitchell Moses is number 8 on my list. Number 7 is a bloke who's dropped off probably because of injury and probably because other players just had better years, in my opinion. Number 7 is the Newcastle Knights halfback, Mitchell Pearce. Now, Mitchell Pearce for mine, he carried the Knights pretty much all year. I don't think he missed the game at all, Mitchell Pearce. I thought he played fairly well this year. You could argue Pearce should be up a little bit higher, but I think 7th is probably a fair spot for Mitchell Pearce. I thought he had a pretty solid season. His attack was quite good. His defence has always been pretty good, Mitchell Pearce. Good defender. What I noticed about Mitchell Pearce this year, played on the left side and the right side a fair bit. He's more of a right side player, Mitchell Pearce, but he played on the left side a fair bit, combining the Kalen Ponga and, Kurt Mann as well. He was playing 5'8" most of the season. And, I thought he played okay, Mitchell Pearce, considering playing with a house partner like Kurt Mann, who hasn't really played a lot of 5'8" in his career. But, I thought Mitchell Pearce, a fairly good season. He's definitely had better seasons in his career, but, he didn't play terrible or anything. I thought he did a good job. But, compared to the other halfbacks that I will get to in a minute, Mitchell Pearce for mine, probably the 7th best halfback in 2020. Number 6 is a bloke that I thought had a really good season, played very well, started poorly. Even Cooper Cron gave him a bit of criticism. Number 6 is the Cronulla Sharks halfback, Shaun Johnson. Now, the first half of the year, or the first 6 to 10 weeks, he was playing 5'8" because Chad Townsend was there. When Chad Townsend got suspended and he got injured a few times, Shaun Johnson went to halfback and he played so much better. Shaun Johnson played so much better at halfback. And what I will say about Shaun Johnson, I used to criticise him on his defence, and don't get me wrong, his defence still isn't amazing, but his defence has improved a little bit. And my God, I think he had about 23 to 25 try assists this year, Shaun Johnson. The game against the Roosters where he got injured was a shame because that was just disappointing. But, if Shaun Johnson didn't get injured, he could have been top 5 for mine. But probably number 6 for mine for Shaun Johnson. I thought he had a fairly solid year, and the bloke's a freak on his day. When Shaun Johnson's on, he is a fantastic halfback. When he's off, he's off. But I think he just needs to find that consistency, find that extra grit, I think, in his game and be more consistent. And if he becomes more consistent, he'll become a top halfback in the game. But at the moment, and as for 2020, I think Shaun Johnson is probably the 6th best halfback of 2020. But you could argue top 5 if you wanted to. Number 5, let's get into it. The top 5 halfbacks of the 2020 NRL season. Number 5 is the Queensland, Australian and Manly halfback, Daly Cherry Evans, DCE. A lot of people think this is bullshit because DCE is number 5. Look, when you're playing for a club like Manly, who had a really disappointing season, they had different house partners week in, week out. Manly had different house partners. They had Lachlan Croker at 6, Cade Cust, Dylan Walker. They didn't know who was playing 5'8". They were changing it every week, Manly. So you can't blame Daly Cherry Evans for that. It's very hard to play with a different house partner every couple of weeks because, combinations with your hooker, combinations with your back rower, combinations with your fullback. It makes it tough, but I thought DC handled himself fairly well. He didn't have a brilliant season. He's definitely had better years in his career. I thought he was pretty solid. I thought he played all right. He didn't play terrible or anything. He had a couple of shockers, but he also had a couple of really good games as well. But, DCE, quality half. He knows what it takes to win big games in his career. And as for 2020, Manly will pour themselves. But I thought DCE had a solid year, and he is number 5 on the list. Number 4 is a bloke who, in my opinion, is a great halfback when he's not injured and when his defence is quite good. Well, when his defence is better, but defence is very hot and cold at the moment. Number 4 is the South Sydney Rabbitohs halfback, Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds for mine. The combination between Adam Reynolds and Cody Walker was electric this year. And then Damien Cook as well helps out. Adam Reynolds' kicking game this year was quite great. His kicking game towards that right side of the corner. Campbell Graham was giving him a fill all year with Jackson Paulo. Every time they would kick, Reynolds Jackson Paulo, Campbell Graham, they'd all be there. I thought Adam Reynolds had a fairly good year. If Adam Reynolds' defense improves, he just needs to find that extra bit of grit and consistency to become an Origin player. Once again, I don't know if he'll play Origin again anytime soon because Brad Fittler's so far up Nathan Cleary's ass. But, the thing with Adam Reynolds, he's a quality player. He's been a good player for a long time. He's won a premiership in 2014. He's played Origin before. He's a quality player. And, I thought he had a pretty good season. He set up a couple of great tries, scored a couple himself. He's probably got the best kicking game in rugby league when he's on. But overall, another good year for Adam Reynolds. And he is the 4th best halfback of 2020. Number 3 on the top 10 halfbacks of 2020. Number 3 is a bloke that I didn't even rate as a halfback at the start of the year. Number 3 is the Melbourne Storm halfback, Jahrome Hughes. Now, Jahrome Hughes, he was a fullback back when he played with the Cowboys. He was a fucking 5'8" when he first went to Melbourne. Then he was a fullback. Now he's a genuine halfback. And let me just say this about Jahrome Hughes. I was wrong about Jahrome Hughes. I was completely off about Jahrome Hughes. I used to think he was nothing but a fullback or maybe a running 5'8", but my God, I was so wrong about that. Craig Bellamy, Cameron Smith, they've all helped out Jahrome Hughes to play halfback, and they have put their faith in Jahrome Hughes at halfback, and he's just gotten better and better. He's improved as a player. He's improved as a defender. And Jahrome Hughes, for mine, he is a fantastic halfback. And I didn't think he was a halfback, but I was wrong about that. And let me just say, 2020 season, the combination between Munster and Hughes was terrific. Cameron Smith and Pappenhausen as well in the spine really helped Jahrome Hughes. And I thought he had a really good season, set up a lot of tries, and I think he will only improve as a halfback as the years go on. So Jahrome Hughes is number 3 on my list. And now the top 2. Number 2 is a bloke that I have been watching for a very long time. I've been watching this bloke when he was playing in the Super League. I've been watching this bloke for quite some time now. Number 2, the 2nd best halfback of the 2020 NRL season is the Canberra Raiders halfback, George Williams. Now, this bloke, I said at the start of the year, this bloke will be the buy of the season. Now, I don't think he was a buy of the year, but you could say probably the best half buy of the year. You could say I think Abby Coruscant is the buy of the year, but George Williams, for mine, out of all the halves that were signed at each club at the start of the year, George Williams is clearly the best halfback signing of the year. And my God, what a player. What a quality player. George Williams is world class. The bloke's won grand finals in England with Wigan. He has played for England. He is a quality player. He had a great year with the Canberra Raiders. Even in the finals when Canberra, when they smashed Cronulla the first week, George Williams played fantastic. And even in the game against Roosters, he played well. The game against Melbourne where I attended, even though Melbourne won 30-10, George Williams was the best player for Canberra, which is unbelievable. When you get beat by 20 in a preliminary final and you're the best player in the field and you're a halfback still is unbelievable. But George Williams, a great season. He's a running halfback, but he can also control the side as well. Takes the pressure off Jack White. And he's a good game manager as well, George Williams. He's a great quality player, and I think he'll get better at the Raiders, especially with Josh Hodgson coming back next year, and White will be there again. So expect George Williams to have another good year next year and probably the next coming years as well. George Williams, great season. He is number 2 on the list. And number 1, the best halfback of the 2020 NRL season. You already know him. He is Stan from American Dad. His name is Nathan Cleary. Big Chin Cleary. He is the best halfback of the 2020 NRL season. Now, look, everyone knows my thoughts on Nathan Cleary. I'm not going to get into it, but as much as I don't like the bloke, I thought he had a fantastic season. Probably a little bit robbed not to win the Dally M in a way, but, unlucky. It is what it is. You just got to get more points in the Dally M's running next time. But I thought Nathan Cleary had a fantastic season, probably the best season of his career. I'm not sure if he'll have a better year in his life, to be honest, because what he did this year was pretty remarkable. He does choke in the big games, which is sad, but regular season is very good. I thought he had a really good season, Nathan Cleary. set up a lot of tries. The combination between Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai in the halves was quite good, and Happy Coruscant as well at dummy half. Edwards at the back was also really good for him. And the combination on the right side between Nathan Cleary and Liam Martin was also quite solid as well. You know, good combination between Cleary and Martin this year, and Luai and Cleary complement each other very well. And Happy Coruscant and dummy half does a great job there as well. So it's a no-brainer. Nathan Cleary was the best halfback of the 2020 NRL season. So guys, that's the video. That's my top 10 NRL halfbacks of 2020. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know your top 5 or top 10 halfbacks of the 2020 NRL season. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. It's 9:30 p.m. This video should be uploaded just before 10 o'clock. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.